honestly, I think a really good chance for that to happen. Let's start with South Korea against Jordan. I'm going to go Korea here.
Okay.
I'm going to go Korea here simply because I think it would take a perfect match for Jordan to outdo the Koreans. It can happen, but I just think statistically, I'm going percentages here. I think Korea will find themselves on top against this Jordani side. Jordan's also missing one key player up front, Olwan. He's been fantastic. Yeah. You highlighted him in the last segment. His dribble penetration has been immense. Even if he's not getting the assists ultimately or scoring goals, he's at least occupying 2 to 3 defenders every time he gets on the ball, thus opening up space for both Yazan and Altamari. But with his absence, I don't really think they have someone who can come in and have the exact same impact. They'll still have Almardi, of course, but I think the front three will now have to work a little bit harder to attack South Korea. And then for the midfield, they're going to have a perfect game. Same with Al-Arab and Nasib, who've been fantastic. I'm not too worried about them because, honestly, they've actually been probably my favorite center back pairing at this tournament. I'm really impressed with how both of them play. I'm not worried about that from Jordan's perspective, but I just think in the midfield and up front, Jordan are going to have a perfect game against South Korea to ultimately come out victorious.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Jordan. It is, but I also do think their defense is going to give them a really good shot. Yeah. They've been great the whole tournament, so I agree with you highlighting those center backs. They've really stood out to me, and they do have their moments. Altamari can still do some magic on the wings. They have their players that can at least keep this game very close and very tight. But I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself here for the third time in a row when it comes to talking about South Korea. I believe that we will finally see South Korea show up from the first minute this time around, bro. Okay. I've said it the last 2 rounds, dude, and I've actually been wrong in my assessment in the sense that they don't show up until like the 60th minute. It happened against Saudi Arabia. It happened against Australia. And from that point forward, they showed to be a very, very dangerous team that could score goals on their opponent. They broke down one of the best defenses in Australia this past time around, getting 2 goals on them over 120 minutes.
I don't know if broke down is the right word.
They broke those fuckers down.
I'm not going to let you use that word. I'm not going to let you use that word.
But I see it happening against Jordan this time around because it has to happen now. South Korea has to be aware that if they win this game, they go to the final for the first time in decades playing Klinsmann ball. Please, for the love of God, from the get-go, let's get something exciting happening. Let's get on the front foot. Let's stop waiting for the other team to score on you so you can wake up. Go for it right away. And I do see Korea doing that this time around. I have South Korea progressing and going to the final, and it's going to be an insane, insane achievement for them.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I think the term that's going around right now for South Korea is zombie football. They have to be down in the dirt for them to come to rise up and actually meet the challenge.
Yeah.
It's worked so far. And what's going to be really interesting about this match is it's the one and only rematch of a group stage game.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So I actually think there'll be a little bit of mentals here between Klinsmann and Amuta. Amuta's honestly proven to be a fantastic coach for Jordan. He seems like the guy who understands the personnel that he has at his disposal. But I think for South Korea, I'm just going to go back to what I've said this entire tournament for them. Heung-min Son, Kang In-lee, and now Hwang Hee-chan, I think are going to show up. And you know what? I'll join you. I think they're going to show up, at least maybe not in the first minute, but earlier on and not wait till the second half. I think the fact that they've got past a really difficult challenge in Australia is only going to hype them up even more so to beat Jordan here. They were able to get the draw against them in the group stage, so they kind of know what to expect from kind of the wing play, but also how they play, how physical the center backs can get. So I wonder if they're going to try a slightly different approach and maybe avoid central play and just kind of attack on the wings. And they have so much talent out there. I think they can find themselves successful in doing so. For South Korea, though, I think this is a crazy opportunity. It's not going to be easy. Jordan have been fantastic this entire tournament, man. They've had an interesting way to get here, but every time that they've been faced with a challenge and it's meant something, they've always come out on top. They've been really fun to watch. They have some fantastic players. Jordan themselves, bro, have a crazy opportunity to go to the final. And honestly, just considering how leaky South Korea have been, Jordan honestly should back themselves to at least get a goal here. I'm not saying that they, should try to get a clean sheet or they can expect them to, but Jordan should really go into this positively because, dude, what an opportunity for Jordan to get themselves into a final.
This is going to be one of the most emotional matches we will see here at this tournament because looking at the narrative for South Korea, I mean, Heung-min's son, he's shown how much he cares for this team. If he's able to carry them to the final through what should be a really good performance from him, I could see him being a very emotional player out on that pitch, as well as King and Lean, all these guys. But for Jordan, we saw how much that victory over Iraq meant for them, bro. I mean, these guys were celebrating for 30 minutes after the game was over because they were so proud of what they were doing for their country and on this pitch. So I think this game is just, the stage is so big now and what's at stake is so massive that both these countries are going to let it out completely on this pitch. And what's crazy, bro, if it goes to extra time once again, that'll mean that Korea plays 3 extra time games in what, 1 week? Yeah, that's insane.
That's
dude.
insane.
Good Lord. That'd be insane, but also a testament to their mentality. This game's going to take everything. It's going to take everything from all these players, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm going South Korea, but I would not be mad if Jordan pulls it off because it would be history if they did.
Oh, absolutely. I would. Low-key, I might be rooting for Jordan for a little bit, but I can't help but love the narrative for South Korea, not having won it since, 1968. And just the story of Heung-min's son, man, we already prefaced it. He's probably one of the best Asian footballers to have ever lived. He's 31 now.
Yep.
This is probably it from an influential impact on the pitch point of view. He'll be here in 2027 for sure. But I don't know if he'll have the same pace or the same role for this Korean side. He still has the technique, the pace right now. He still is this leader offensively for South Korea. For him to get Korea to another final, but this time maybe lift it, would just be a crazy story. So I think the emotion is going to be really high in this game, bro. I think the emotion is going to be crazy high. And again, I don't know if I can, shy away from that type of moment. I might be going for Korea too. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. All I know is that we're going to get a banger of a match.
Worth noting that South Korea is also going to be missing Kim Min-jae in this match, dude. And that's huge, man. Gargantuan for what is their back line. That is their leader. That is their stalwart. But hopefully, or at least the way I see it, I do think that regardless of that, they'll be able to still be formidable at the back. I think South Korea's depth will show here. And no, he won't be able to play up to levels of Kim Min-jae, but it will be enough to carry them against this Jordan side.